Many of you may have heard the story about Mario Lopez, who appeared on the Candace Owens podcast, which is a PragerU show, and said something to the effect of, I'm not going to tell parents how to raise their kids, but I just don't think 3-year-olds can really know if they're transgender. A completely reasonable position. He didn't tell other parents what they shouldn't do. He simply said he didn't think so. And he got attacked for it. A month later, the comments resurfaced, and for some, Mario Lopez apologized? Why? Look, man, Mario, you've lost all of my respect. Apologize for what? You think 3-year-olds know if they're trans? 3-year-olds don't even know what left and right is. They have very little concept of anything in physical reality. His comments weren't even telling parents what to do, so why apologize? But it's been a fun and nightmarish past couple of years with the weird psychosis that is happening in the press and in the media. And look, the psychosis I'm referring to has nothing to do with individuals and trans people in the trans community. I'm referring to those who can't seem to say anything that makes sense, and then when they're attacked for it, they try and invert their position. Basically, the point is, you can't go out and be like, here's how I feel, and then someone be like, I think you feel wrong, and then they go, yes, that was wrong of me. What? How does you think Mario Lopez actually changed his opinion on anything? No, he's bowing to the mob. It is psychotic to believe anything good will come of this. But here we go. I hope you're ready for a deep dive into one of the most bizarre stories I have ever read. From the Daily Caller. Model admits she lied about being transgender after getting death threats over past comments. Model Carissa Pinkston admitted she lied about being transgender earlier this month after getting death threats over her past comments that were transphobic on social media. Hold on. Daily Caller, what are you doing? Daily Caller says they were transphobic. No, they weren't. It all started back in May when Pinkston, a model for the Savage X Fenty lingerie line, posted a series of posts on Facebook under the name of Risa Danielle, per NBC News in a piece published Wednesday. Quote, being transgender does not make you a woman. It simply makes you transgender, the model wrote in one post. That is her opinion. Like, the argument over the word woman, fine. But here's the point. Wikipedia defines woman as an adult human female, period. Okay? You get these people who, for political reasons, are saying trans women are women. Fine, if that's your political opinion. I'm not going to tell you mine. I'm just going to tell you that Wikipedia says a woman is an adult human female. The reason I bring that up, if she agrees with that, that's her opinion. It's based on Wikipedia. I'm not saying Wikipedia is the best source in the world. I'm just saying it's not like she's made it up one day. It's not like she's part of a secret cabal of transphobic bigots. No, it sounds like she's someone who's read an encyclopedia and said, that's my position. But it gets better. Oh, trust me, it gets better. In another, she wrote, transgender people want to be perceived as male or female. In a biological context, there are males and females. That is 100% correct. Now, I love science, and I'm entirely open to the possibility of new science emerging because I'll be honest, I've never actually looked at a cell under a microscope to tell you what it is or isn't. I recognize that my opinions and beliefs come from other people that I trust. But so long as the scientific community has not undergone a dramatic overhaul where new sexual cells emerge, well, I'm going to keep my opinion to the scientific community. Same as I do for climate change. Apparently, you got factions of people who don't believe in science. But what do you think she did, this model does then, when she's losing her job or being threatened for saying basic facts? Well, first of all, it's ridiculous that this model would lose work over this, but welcome to 2019. It gets better. When people called her out for being transphobic, she didn't apologize and then compared a person labeling themselves as transgender to reclaiming their virginity. Screenshots of those since deleted posts resurfaced on Twitter last week, and soon after, the model was fired from her agency, Elite Models. Pinkston then wrote an Instagram post on July 22nd that she just wasn't ready to come out, and then claimed that she was, in fact, transgender. Now, I want to do something really interesting. It's show you something. Here's a picture of the model, I'm assuming. And let me show you this other picture. Interestingly, she does have rather masculine features. And I believe a lot of people may have actually believed she was transgender. Except for the fact that she has been naked around people. And she is a biological female, it would seem. Why did she think this was the right thing to do? I don't know, but I'll put it this way. She criticized trans orthodoxy with science, that male and female exists, and she lost her job over it. So she did what seemingly made sense. Be trans. Then you'll get more work, right? No, because people know the truth. It didn't work. But think about what this means. Someone actually thought it would be more lucrative and beneficial to their career to pretend to be transgender. Things are getting weird, I'll say that. I wasn't ready to come out yet, but today I got fired and I've been receiving hate mail and death threats ever since, so I'm forced to tell everyone the truth. I'm transgender, she said. However, shortly after her big reveal, fellow models called her transgender declaration a lie. I have seen baby pictures of Carissa. I've seen her fully naked. I've been around this woman long enough to fully know her. Elise Wilson, a fellow model, wrote, "We have many trans friends. This conversation would have definitely been brought up." Meanwhile, a gender non-conforming trans model named Erin Phillip tweeted, "I know this person IRL and she is so cisgender." Imagine being a model who got exposed for being a raging transphobe, saying extremely transphobic S in the past, and then resorting to lying about being transgender online for clout in an attempt to save your career. That last part, I'm right there with you. However, raging transphobe. Let me just say something now for everybody. There are two biological sexes that we know of, at least as it pertains to humans and mammals. And my general understanding, and I could be wrong, is that there's male and female, sperm and ova, and there's not like a third cell that then interacts, which exists with a third biological sex. Which means gender is bimodal. That's how it's been described by many people smarter than me in this field. That 98 point something percent of people will fall into one of two, bell curves, but there is a small overlap. There's intersex and other abnormalities, but for the most part, there are two. So yes, in most circumstances, the overwhelming majority, around 98% of the time, you will be discernibly male or female. There are then people who will be not discernibly male or female, but still functionally male or female, and there are some people where they're just kind of in between. But there is no third bell curve of a different gender that it doesn't exist. So yes, if you're born male, for the most part, you will never be female, period. I mean, unless, of course, we have like some kind of, magic technology. I shouldn't say magic, but like technological development that actually allows like body swapping or like cellular conversion or complete cellular manipulation. For the most part, after, however many years you've been alive, your body has developed to either male or female, and with some exceptions, intersex and other, but 98%-ish, okay? So I would say this. You are not a raging transphobe for pointing out typically people are going to be male or female, and you can't change that. At least not now. Perhaps in the future when we get, new technologies, you can, but right now we don't. But I will go on to say, why would anybody pretend to be trans? So then she goes on to say, I apologize for any transphobic remark I've ever made towards the trans community, the model wrote. I thought if I came out as trans that I could somehow make things better for myself, but it appears I've only made things worse. You bet you did. In an interview Tuesday with BuzzFeed News, the model shared that people don't know the entire story, and that at times she did feel like a trans person in a way. In high school, I was really bullied. Is that a joke? People don't know the entire story. Everyone was saying my original comment was transphobic, but you can't expect everyone to know everything about a culture or movement if they never have taken the time to be fully educated on it. I completely agree. And that's a really interesting thing. I've come across several people who are non-gender conforming. And I mean, like, there are some people in my area who I can't tell if they look biologically female, but maybe have transitioned, maybe a trans man, maybe just be a lesbian. I honestly don't know. So what do? What pronoun do I use? I don't, because you never know if you're going to get one of these people who is going to shriek at the top of their lungs and insult you or attack you. And I understand. The freaky weirdos are few and far between. Most people will just politely be like, actually, I go by X, right? And then I'll be like, oh yeah, no problem. However, do I want to risk being in a situation where all of a sudden now they're accusing me of being a raging transphobe because no one told me your pronoun? It is a weird, weird game. So you know what? I'm just going to make my own pronouns up. I'm going to make up I was actually talking to a friend and I'm like, I'm just going to say XE and XX, right? There you go. Are you XE or XX? X or XE? I don't know. The point is, because everything is offensive all the time, what are you supposed to do? Now, this person's a weirdo. I have no idea why they would pretend to be trans, but heck of a story. It just goes to show you how insane everything's gotten. The fact that you can't point out that male and female are things that are real and people are typically one or the other. The fact that it is more lucrative for them to pretend to be trans than to just stick up for their fact-based belief. Mind-blowing. So I'll say this final thought. Mario Lopez, you should have never apologized. Gross spine. But they don't want to lose their jobs because that's more important, right? Man, people are losers. Mario Lopez, I have no respect for you. Okay, I get it. You're scared. You don't want to lose your job. But until someone steps up and says, no, I'm not going to apologize, and no, I don't care, period. You know what? If you know, I can't be fired. That's kind of why I'm allowed to say the things I say, and that's why I would never want to work for any of these companies. But I'll tell you what. They come, they ban my channel, whatever. I got no problem going and living in the woods, building like a mud hut, just hanging out, looking at the stars. It sounds pretty peaceful, doesn't it? More peaceful than this psychotic behavior. Stick around, I got a couple more segments coming up for you in a few minutes, and I will see you shortly.